Hey everyone, I welcome you all back to what is probably the last video in this series, for now. I intended to make one for Cross, but I can't explore my surroundings during cutscenes. I tried it when I was cooking up my montage for Cross, but what happened is, well, you see it here. And since you can get pretty much anywhere in the world anyways, I saw no reason to make one for this game specifically. But if you have suggestions, please let me know in the comments, or over on our community Discord, where there's a whole channel for video suggestions. As most of you probably know, there does exist a video already where things out of bounds are shown from the first game, though it is the Wii version specifically, and most of the quirks and random things you saw on that video are still a thing in the remaster of 2020, but not all of them. And since that is the case, I thought I could give you a quick glance at the world of Bionis and Mechonis from the definitive edition, especially since the inside of the Mechonis wasn't exactly shown in this video. And someone who made it easier for me to access Mechonis again is also the same person who is the reason why you have gotten the Torna episode in the first place too. He is a friend over on Discord called Benja, who I've met quite a few years ago now. A special thanks to you, man, you're great. And yes, when it comes to the footage, there's still a bit more, since Shazets also didn't show off some of the cutscenes that happen later in the game, which means spoilers are included. Let's get into it one more time, shall we? I'll quickly switch from one place to another, once again to simply show you the visual changes. I showed off the title screen before. Just like on the Wii, you have a flat Monado PNG on a rather small field floating in a lot of nothingness. Funny enough, some of the footage I have here is over more than a year old, when I was considering doing my first out of bounds video on Xenoblade. And here you can see the endless ocean after finishing the game, and to me increasing the field of view until I turn out in Australia. Here's how Colony 9 looks from far away. I was looking through every building to find any secrets, and everything I found were some hidden herbs and spices that you normally wouldn't see like that. Also, excuse me for some lags in some pieces of footage. I have forgotten that I left the game running in 8K for screenshots and wallpapers I create for my Patreon and YouTube supporters. Shameless plug here. Here is something that I still found though. An image from the Bionis shoulder in Shulk's house. Not only that, but also the field from the main menu. You could find them even without the free cam, but I never noticed them. But hey, here you have some screaming carrots. Then we have the entire Tephra cave section. Something that I realized flying around the map is that I never discovered some areas of the map. Mainly because I've gotten discouraged after half the map being not available for me to explore anymore after a certain point in the story. So some of those places were completely new to me. Like this shrine-like area with a prayer room here too. Never been here before. I also have never seen this boss here before. Let me just... There you go. Here you have a low poly version of the Mechonis fallen arm. And the destroyed Mechonis up close. You've seen the scenery over in Gaur Plains, and yes, it is still a beautiful piece of land, with the Bionis standing right above this area and a beautiful sunset on the back. While looking around Colony 6, I was mesmerized by the stars and wanted to take a closer look, if things are identical to Future Connected. And yes, you are still in one massive globe of flat stars. The back of the Bionis is still present, interesting enough. Here you have the Land of Challenge surrounded by a massive sea of clouds. Also, something that I really like about this area is the lighting. I think it looks really good around here. The ether mines are still present, even when the path here is still blocked. All I can provide you with is some footage of this area. Next up we have Satorl Marsh, one of the most beautiful areas in the entire game. If we would zoom out a bit and overlook the entire area, it's kind of funny to see the entire area sparkling from those trees. And if we remove the fog, we are left with an area that has a slightly different feel to it. Hard to say what it is. Slightly unnerving, really. Also, I never really went back to open those high Entia sealed areas, so that's cool to see now. Here you have the Bionis Interior from further away. I gotta say that it's once again pretty cool how interconnected the entire world is and how much foreshadowing is happening. And now to another very beautiful location, Mechna Forest. The waterfalls eventually end on top, same with the path over on Valak Mountain. The big tree is empty and behind the water at Aerith Sea is nothing to find. Also, did you know that the multiple backgrounds used behind the characters are all present there? Just switching depending on where you are, I guess? And here we are even deeper into the forest. Let me give you some beautiful shots again. Now finally inside the Nopon tribe, you can see right above the blue ceiling you have another blue ceiling. And above that blue ceiling, you have another blue ceiling. Truly fantastic. Once again, I find it very interesting how developers give you the illusion of some fantastic lighting. And you have to admit that it does look pretty well done overall. And it is once again impressive too that this game was running originally on a Wii. Switching over to Aerith Sea, you can see the wings of the Bionis further away, sticking out of his shoulder. And also his face, which is lacking any detail. Most of the buildings around this area are empty. Alchemoth has those little areas on the side, which I already showed off in Future Connected. Then we also have the tomb, where you have all those scriptures hanging on the walls. And once again behind the high Entia seal is a Telethia laboratory, which I have never seen before myself and was very happy to see it for the first time. Also, let me grant you some beautiful shots from Valak Mountain. Especially during nighttime, this place is absolutely stunning. This game is quite breathtaking. Let's go over to the Mechonis now. This is how the Mechonis sword looks from further away. And also, of course, this area, Galahad Fortress. Now being inside the capital of the Mechonis, Agneritha. Who thought that this would be a good idea? Like, out of every place you could put a hole in it, why right here? Out of all places. That's just... I don't know, man. I've been also looking at all those displays here, but I think there's nothing too important to find here. I found this, which looks like something you'd see in a later game, but nothing more than that. It is also really cool to see how you're always exactly at the location where you're supposed to be, and from this perspective it makes it even cooler in my opinion. Also here is its face with, I guess that being its beard. Also the glowing eyes hovering over its actual face. I also heard some theories about this ring right here. When it comes to the inside of the Mechonis, you're seeing a lot of gears and parts moving here and there. Oftentimes you wouldn't even see a lot of these parts, but it's cool to see how much actually moves inside here. Makes you feel like it's one big clockwork. The Mechonis is still alive after all. And there's still this area here with Egil being, I guess, dead on the floor. Here's a further away look around this area. Maybe it's just me, but the Monado that the Bionis is using looks like a more transparent version of the Monado 3, aka the true Monado. Here's a weird looking low poly version of Prison Island, same with the weird model of Alchemoth and the rest of Aerith Sea. Before I forget it, here's the last part of the Mechonis. I don't have too much to say, but I hope you enjoy some of the shots here. Then we also have Prison Island, where it seems that someone was already tinkering around with this whole fog beast thing. I mean, what else is this supposed to be? It makes sense in my head. Also, the area theme around here still gives me chills today. All the flashbacks are made with a 2D image as a background, and the characters being quickly loaded in front of that image. But that's not always the case. Like this flashback where Shulk was about to kill Egil. Or here with young Shulk, and how the cinematic looks with colors enabled again. And now a cutscene that was requested with Egil and Arglus. And yes, they are actually standing on the Bionis shoulder. But only half of the shoulder is actually present. Most of what you would normally see in Future Connected isn't present here. But I have an episode for Future Connected, if you are interested in what the Bionis' shoulder has more to offer.
Beyond this world. And one day, it took control of my friend Arglus, and he became Zanza.
In the Wii version, Zanza had a whole face, including eyes. Well, in this game, everything above the nose is pretty much removed. Now, if you watched the Xenoblade 2 episode, you probably remember the one place during the end, which is so ridiculously massive you wouldn't believe it until you would have seen it with your own eyes. And yes, here in this game, there's also such an area. This place is just as massive. Just so you can understand me correctly, this is all in real scale. In this floating building are both Klaus and Galea standing. It was almost a bit overwhelming to fly around here. You can't get the whole Earth into one single frame. Can you see where that room is? It is right there. If we fly towards that room, we can look around. I tried to look at every single screen and symbol that is around there, but I don't think there is anything too relevant to find here. Though you may like to have a look at the two personnel standing behind them. And of course also the ID cards that they all have. Also, the actual explosion is happening on the other side of everything, really. You may find interesting to see that the Bionis has actually eyeballs in the sockets. Looks somewhat uncanny, not gonna lie. And we eventually end up here again. Also, do my eyes deceive me, or is that a high Entia with a core crystal? Oh well. Melia is talking to an imaginary friend. And this is still not it. There's some text on Alvis's necklace, and it looks like the crystal cracked for some reason. And that was it? Well then, I finally did it. I thought it was always really unfortunate that the Xenoblade games never received such videos. That was the main reason why I started doing it myself. And now I'm done, I've covered them all. And honestly, I'm really proud of that. I saw people having discussions over some of the things I found. May that be the third game, second game, or also Future Redeemed. That was pretty cool. I'm really happy that I can be part of the community, someone who makes a difference and contributes to the growth and adds content for the games that others can enjoy. So thank you all very much for watching those Out of Bounds videos. Alright folks, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Like, share, subscribe, links in the description, and I'll see you all once again very soon. I love you guys. See you later.